So I've just received a call from Andre, the manager of this hostel, that says that the police is searching for me. They called him. Of course, I'm here in my apartment, in my room. Of course, locked. Maybe they called to like from a no caller ID, and I think I do not receive such calls. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. You know that much of the time I do not have the SIM in the phone because of the golden earring. But you should understand something. The Cherubs are only doing flash. Flash means all of the same type. They're not going to hurt the police of Israel alone. It's impossible. They will do exactly the same thing that they've done during the 1980s. Exactly the same thing. And probably, although I admit I do not privy to the details, all the details of what exactly happened. It wasn't me. It was my predecessor. It's another human being. Another person, to be more accurate. But no doubt that, series of events such as this happened during the 1980s. Which means, just to say that, today, one of the hats, the famous hats, the Guardians, the American hats that are guarding me and are here to protect me and also to advise me and, to consult me, use the bicycle mechanism in order to transfer his disease to me and to steal my robots from my body. Of course, for the benefit of many other Israelis and also many other people abroad. So I've decided, not atypically, to actually, of course, in my room, with a locked door, closed door, try this reverse hocus pocus with three, with the iPad and two iPad and iPhone with his photograph and the hookah, as you know, and water to drink. But you should understand something. That's not the way of the Cherubs. They never deal with one man or one woman. It's always flash. And probably something like that happened during the 1980s. And that's why the police called. They called, after half an hour that I've done this thing. They didn't like it. Because, of course, first of all, they get the news from him indirectly. But more importantly, the news never deal with one person. It's always flash. And it's always global flash. So if you wonder how exactly so many people of the police force and the internal security services and external security services of the world died during the 1980s, because it wasn't only the KGB and the CIA, it was many other people all over the world. So if you wonder how they died, it was exactly like that. Yes, I do not know any detail, but the general theme was just like that. Another theft, another cruelty, another torture, and then the person had enough and asked the starships that were above, like now, probably much less than now, but one is enough actually. I don't know how many there were, but one is enough. He asked the starship to help him, stop this torture. And they never deal with one person. Starship, even one that is so huge, does not come to Earth to deal with one person. Certainly a fleet. They flash, and they flashed. And most certainly the same thing will happen, probably today. Maybe it's already happening as I speak. All over the world. It's not this hat or the other hat. It's humanity. But this time it will not be, they will not satisfied with only the various intelligence agencies and the police forces. Of course, there will be the starting, dish. But after that, all humans will follow not long after that. And you should understand that it might happen any hour. It might already started to happen. They worked gradually, but in such an extent, with such a force, even gradual work is, you can notice it just from the beginning. More calls from the police, additional calls from the additional torture, additional abuse, additional false incarceration, additional infection with disease. No, it's. I mean, when you see the starships above you, this is not a time for such crimes. This is time to run. Run to Israel, not speak with Israelis, not speak at all. Run to Israel. Save yourselves. Save yourselves. They will not deal with the Israelis alone, and they will certainly not deal with 1 or 2 or 3 Israelis. They will flash the globe. They will flash the globe, and the first to be punished are the police forces and the intelligence services, just like during the 1980s. So whoever that is listening to me now, this channel is not open to the public. They are all part of the intelligence services of the world. You should understand that the people of your organization that died in tremendous amount during the 1980s, they died after exactly that kind of series of events. And we are in it. And the Starship are above us. I mean, you can deny their existence, and the Israelis can deny their existence, and all of the world can deny their existence. But they are above us. I've seen at least 6 just yesterday, and they are not going to leave or something like that. I don't know how many are there, but I'm certain that it will not be less than 100 after they are they are all in positions. And one is enough to annihilate all humans. And you will be the first targets, because the police and the internal security services are the ones that are torturing me the most. So the first retaliation will be against them. But when we say against them, it's not against them specifically. It's against their type in a global way. This is the way of the cherubs, global flash. And it might already started, I don't know. Maybe it's like already started and you all feel it. But it's not going to be many hours before, I mean, the same happens. The same thing that happened during the 1980s will happen to you. All of you will die. You need to understand that. All over the world. You need to understand what kind of a game you play when you speak with the Israelis. When you ask them, is that a clone or the original? I mean, it's too late to deal with the cruelty of the question and the irrationality of the question. I've done it a lot during the last 4.5 years. But now we are not in this kind of like discussion. Now the discussion is different. You see the starship above you. You understand that just in order to move themselves, they require tremendous amount of energy. Even if you do not believe that they have faster than light travel, and I assure you they do. But just, I mean, for travel through space, I mean, where did they come from? From the moon? They came from a place where, I mean, there is kind of a civilization. Do you know of such a place in the solar system? Venus, they are Paleolithic. They don't have such things. If they had such things, I mean, would you think that they would allow, like, I mean, the slave trade to go on for more than 100 years? So you can say maybe it's like from a moon in Saturn that contain civilization that we are not aware of. Sentient and advanced civilization. So first of all, this is a possibility. Actually, it's a possibility. It's not the correct possibility. I mean, it's not true. I mean, it's not true that they came from Saturn. Even though, yeah, it's possible that Saturn, one of the moons of Saturn, actually is a home to sentient and advanced life forms. And even Saturn itself, because there is much that you don't know about life. But this fleet did not come from Saturn. It came from far, far away using hyperspace technology. But let's say it came from Saturn. Do you know what kind of energy resources are needed to move such huge ships in such a quantity? Let's say there are only 6. I've seen 6 with my own eyes. Do you know what kind of energy is needed for that? This is enough to know that they can annihilate all of you in a second. And they've already done so. Not in a second, but over, I mean, several months during the 1980s. And this process can start any moment if it's not already started. The only way to perhaps prevent it, even though at the current position I don't think it's even possible, but the only kind of maybe way to prevent it is to stop the discussion, to stop the movement of the mouths and the tongues, to run to Israel, to stop the torture, stop false incarceration, stop the cruelty, using arms and legs. Arms and legs. The clock is ticking. How much spaceships you will see tonight? And I assure you will. Tonight will be a replay of other trips. Just, for me to watch more spaceships. It's like a hobby, like, bird watchers. Now I watch the starships. Now I want to detect 10 or 20 above my head. No, it's not necessarily going to be on the beach. The jurisdiction is not only the beach. It can be anywhere. It can be just downstairs. And this is probably how it's going to be. Smoking a hookah on a bench, in front of the building. So if the police will actually have the audacity to come, they will see me just where I am. Believe me, it's in their jurisdictions, like this place. But the question is, what are we waiting for? What do you think is going to happen to you? What do you think is coming? The answer is exactly the same thing that already happened during the 1980s, and after that, tremendous amount of much larger calamities, but probably you don't care about it because all of the intelligence services of the world will be dead by then. It is time to stop conversation entirely and to run. Not to run to Israel before it's too late, and it's probably already too late.